Hi guys and welcome to Woodrock Animal Rescue, powered by, you know it, Woodrock Animal Rescue. I love saying it, and I think every time I say it, I think people look, I say I've got like a silly smile on my face, but I'm so excited and I just absolutely love it. Love what Woodrock Animal Rescue stands for, and there's always something to talk about. You know, there's always something going on and there's always something exciting happening. And we do deal with a lot of drama, but I think by choice we've chosen rather to be the positive than the negative.
And that's how life should be. We should always see things in the rose-colored windows as the glass of food rather than our food.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree with you. So Stella, today we wanted to talk about something quite interesting. We wanted to talk about our pop-up adoption centres and our pop-ups that happen every single weekend. So let's first just tell our audience that every single weekend, in case you don't know, Woodrock Animal Rescue have pop-up adoptions happening. We have little centres. We're at Parktown North, the garden shop. We're at Four Ways Crossing, and we are at Kalami Corner, a very tiny one outside Kalami Corner, the Woodrock Cat Cafe.
May I interject into
You
how
may.
the pop-ups actually started?
Go for it, Stella.
So over COVID, Oscar's Ark, who are the flagship of pop-ups, they've got their containers which they've modified into these gorgeous units. And Joanne was asked to please come through to Johannesburg and do another pop-up. She had done already 2 in Johannesburg, and they were supremely successful. And so then she was asked to come through with the container yet again and do the whole pop-up here in Johannesburg and COVID. So she said, there's nobody better to do a pop-up than Woodrock Animal Rescue. Give them a call. And that's how the pop-ups actually started.
And I think from then on, we've actually just taken it to a different level, taken it to a Woodrock Animal Rescue level. And it's really an exciting place, and it adds so much value to so many people, and of course to Woodrock Animal Rescue. And I do believe that it adds a lot of value to the world of rescue, because why, you might ask me why?
Okay, so it gives us an opportunity to tell the world, or tell South Africans, what actually our animals are all about. Here in Johannesburg, in our centre at the Woodrock Animal Rescue, we carry on every day and things happen every day. But when we pack our dogs away and we take them to a park-like experience, like a pop-up, it's a whole new ballgame.
But you know, there's so much more value than just that, and then I think we need to go into greater detail soon. But I think the amazing thing about it is that we're taking rescue animals,
our own rescue animals, which is, as Jackie said, we took it to a new level. So with Oscar's Ark, she takes rescue dogs from all different centres, which is remarkable. But there's a lot of logistics to that. Where Woodrock Animal Rescue, we believe our dogs should be rehomed, because rehoming one dog actually rehomes 2, because the dog that goes into a new home means that we can now open up some space and take in a new dog.
Absolutely, no, it's absolutely phenomenal. So what we're doing is we're taking rehomable dogs, very, very homable dogs. They've been through medical, they've gone through behavior, and we're going to talk about that in greater detail in a second. We're taking them through to residential areas. And I have to say, you know, my experience of being with the pop-up adoptions is that when we actually started them at Parktown North, the garden shop, what actually happened is people didn't know that rescue animals existed. It sounds crazy to us, but in those days, people didn't understand that you rescue dogs, they get rehabilitated, you rehome. They didn't actually understand the entire process of what it actually means to have a rescue dog, and they never understood that you can have a rescue dog, and the rescue dog is even more together than a dog that you are going to go and buy from a breeder. So from an educational perspective, the pop-ups for me have been remarkable. While we're talking about people and the human element of it, Stella, just want to tell our audience about the value that it adds to the community service candidates as well.
This is a big box that's ticked for me, because being in education, I'm huge on if you know better, you do better concept. So the community hours group, Sarah in particular, nominated Woodrock Animal Rescue as the shelter to go and do your animal shelter, because don't forget you can do your community hours at adoption centres for humans, you can do it at feeding schemes or whatever. But she nominates Woodrock Animal Rescue, and we're very grateful. And the community hour children come through, and I'm quite firm about this, and they have to understand what rescue is all about. So we walk them right through what it entails to adopt a rescue dog, to maintain a rescue dog, and to house a rescue dog in a shelter environment.
They also learn other important things like sterilization.
Absolutely, but on the day, they are taught communication skills. They are taught how to negotiate with humans. They're taught all sorts of skills that they're going to use in their adult life. Remember that these learners are the future leaders of the world.
Absolutely, Stella. I absolutely love that because there's so many elements to the community service kids, and the one is, as you say, they've been taught aspects of life that they aren't taught at school in their daily environment, as you said, like negotiation, like speaking to people, like welcoming people in. And then as well as that, there's the other avenue, and that is the actual real education. What does rescue mean? Where does a rescue animal come from? And there are multiple, places that animals are rescued from, the situations that animals are rescued from. They learn about sterilization and why is it so important to sterilize. They learn how to actually walk a dog on a lead, which is a lot of people don't know that. Oh, they come in and they've got 3 dogs, but they've never really taken their dog for a walk and don't understand the commands and how to actually talk to the dog. A lot of kids also, they come and they learn how to actually communicate with the animal. And my favorite part is they actually see the value that animals add to them.
And my best part is that when the dog goes home, these learners communicate with us. Has Mr. Fox gone home? How's Danny Boy doing in his new home? They become invested and interested as to how the dog eventually did, because on the day that they are the caregiver for that dog at Pop-Up, and Jackie will explain to you what Pop-Up is. On that day, they build a relationship with that dog, and they are responsible for the well-being of that dog on that day, and they walk that dog, and they lay in the sun on a blanket, they brush the dog, they learn the dog's different personalities, how's he with other dogs, how's he with children, how he interacts being belly rubbed, is he okay with having his ears scratched. So all these quirks, that learner is giving feedback to the team leaders.
Absolutely. And then the most beautiful thing happens for me is that the negotiation skills that they've learned with us, they start negotiating with their parents. Look, you know what, he's just phenomenal. He'd fit into our home so beautifully. He walks, he sleeps, he cuddles, he does all the right things. And I am 100% certain he's house trained. Meantime, no one knows those details. So the pop-up adoption centers from the community service kids is amazing. The value that we are giving them is absolutely remarkable. And in turn, they're also adding a lot of value to our animals, being able to spend one-on-one quality time with each animal. So it's really, really fantastic. For people that don't know, I think I should have started with this. Community service kids, in order for, I know it's a lot of the private schools, I know it's a public school sector as well, in order for them to actually get a matric, for life, I think it's part of the life orientation syllabus, they've got to do a certain number of community service hours, and that's actually how this whole story came about. But let's talk more about pop-ups. I feel like we just go all totally into community service kids, and I think you, because of the education element, can talk about this an entire show, and I do believe that's definitely going to be a session to follow. But what actually happens at these pop-ups? So the first thing is that we have to earmark the right animal to go to the right place wherever they're going for that day. Maybe Four Ways Crossing, maybe Parktown or the Garden Shop, because we need to make sure that those animals are going to be able to communicate and cope with that environment. Are they child friendly? Are they sociable with other dogs? How do they react? Are they very busy and they need lots of walking or running? So it's all these kind of things that, from a Woodrock animal rescue perspective,
passing by.
Absolutely.
People, unexpectedly touching them, although the learners have learned, in this space, don't just immediately come into the animal space.
But we also learn a lot through those environments. So sometimes we do take a dog that we do feel could get, be a little bit anxious, and they'll get there and they might be a little bit anxious, and they get there and all of a sudden they are showing off, and you see how much they actually connect maybe with children, or maybe they connect with older people. And it's a beautiful thing for us at the adoptions department to have our little notes come back and say, you know what, actually Rue is incredible with teenagers but not amazing with babies. So it's fantastic feedback for us, because that's very much a home-like environment. And so the dogs, you can see a different part of their personality at those environments. So it's a really beautiful thing for us. But it's something that we've worked on for long, and I do believe that we have mastered the way that we run our pop-ups.
Can I ask you, Jax, why do you only do them at the 3 venues consistently?
We set up there. The setup is quite a story, and we are very much Parktown of the Garden Shop. They're amazing. We have a proper base there, so we have a little what's it called?
Zozos.
We put a little zozo there so we can keep all our gazebos there and our gorgeous chairs and our, doggy beds and all those things there. So we've got really a solid base there. As well as that, we've got our thrift store there, which is fantastic. So the community that's coming there is really having a full day out. Go to the garden shop, come in and check out the dogs, come play with the dogs, come adopt a dog, go shopping in our thrift store, etc. So that's the garden shop. And then Forest Crossing has been very committed to us. And they've got a dog park in the middle of their parking lot. It's very small. So yet again, depending on which venue we're at, we need to take the right kind of dogs. So for example, Forest Crossing being a small enclosed area, I couldn't take big dogs that want to run and we need to take dogs that are appropriate for that environment and also appropriate for the people that are coming to that environment. So the shoppers, we identified what kind of community is going to be at what area, and we obviously bring in the right animal based on those dogs. So for example, when we've done at like Crowthorne Shopping Centre, because you've got more of the equestrian states out there, to take larger breed dogs or pups, they work in that area, and the people, that's what they're really looking for. So we do that, but the proper actual process is a story. It's an entire week's preparation. We start on a Monday, we earmark the dogs, we check them out medically, they get checked out, and we make sure that they're the right combination. From there on Tuesday, our behaviorist comes, and all these dogs get put into areas together to make sure that there aren't any, personality conflicts and things like that, which is also, we've got to take all those things into consideration. We don't always know right there and then if they're going to be amazing with children, but we know that they're good with people. We know that we can put a harness on them and we can walk them. So those are a couple of the tick boxes. Do you have anything to add to that process yet?
No, but they have to be sterilized before they leave.
Oh, listen, if you know Woodrock Animal Rescue, as the dogs get to Woodrock Animal Rescue, they get medical checks, they get vaccinated, they get dewormed, and they'll put immediately on sterilization.
I was hoping you would say the reason why we are so sold on those areas is because they are virgin land only to Woodrock. So it's very important that our dogs don't pick up some lurkies from those properties, because it can happen that they could pick up hookworm from dogs walking. We have it in all the parks. But surprisingly enough, we've never had that, because that land is our land. It sounds like I'm singing, but it's our plots that we have earmarked, our areas
been designated to us.
That has been designated to us, and we kind of have certainty that the dogs won't pick up any viruses.
But in saying that, just like humans, I can go out and we can share the same salad, and I can get sick and you can be fine. So we do everything in our power from a medical perspective to make sure that they're healthy. So as I said, when animals do come in, they get checked out they get an intake, and they checked out medically, they get sterilized. It's so if a dog does go to a pop-up, they are medically checked throughout the week. So they are checked consistently. How their nails, do they have any runny tummies? How they're reacting? They might come back with a bit of a runny tummy. It doesn't mean that they picked up a bug or an allergy, as you called it, but it could mean that they just felt a little bit stressed or they didn't love the car ride, etc. How do they get there? Now, guys, this in itself is a full-blown story, and yet again, allocated staff for the animals. By the Friday, every animal again has been medically checked and signed off to actually leave property. Their files are all organized, so an admin perspective, everything is organized and put together and made sure that everything is ticked and turned. And then the team are notified which animals are going on the Saturday to which venue, and then those allocated staff will then harness them up. They then put them in their specific cars, whichever one's going. The cars, guys,
goes into the trailer unit.
The trailer units really have been they've been specifically tailor-made for our rescue animals, so they are super safe, and they're spacious. They've got enough space in them. We're very wary. Everyone's got blankets, so from a comfort perspective, they've got blankets down and
fresh blankets.
And they're really safe. We don't let them eat on the way there, because some dogs do get car sick. I get car sick. You don't get car sick. But so we try and take all those things into consideration. But the staff then pack them into the car, and while they're packing them in, one at a time, making sure, scanning their microchip. Is this the right dog? Does it tie up with their sterilization book and their number and their microchip and their VAC card and their admin files and everything else? And then they'll be taking a dog, and all of a sudden that dog will decide, you know what, actually I don't feel like going out today. So or it throws a curveball. So out goes the other end, and then we'll pop in a message. Listen, Joey couldn't come to Parktown today because he's just not having a great day. Or all of a sudden somewhere we might go and get a dog, and we might have noticed when we're getting them from their kennel that there's poop all over and it's runny poop, so we don't feel safe. We'd rather let them stay behind, get checked out by medical. So these things happen. We're dealing with living, breathing beings, and life happens. So sometimes these things happen. So curveballs thrown, and then we have the most remarkable staff, and they'll quickly pick out someone else, and they'll quickly have to get an exit check to check out that they can go off to Parktown, and their file's got to be pulled, and they'll go get in the van and they'll go. But I have to tell you something, the dogs get so excited. Stella, you hear often. So just, do you want to tell our audience, like usually we try and keep the same dogs over a week, on a Saturday and Sunday. Any dogs that get applications will stay on the Sunday, and we'll put in fillers. But
So
tell us.
I call it the park-like experience, and they know, I promise you, they know they're going to the park. Because now, don't forget, we try and keep the same set of dogs. Jackie said Saturday and Sunday, but not all 15 dogs get adopted on that day. Adoptions are very slow, and so we do have dogs that get repeatedly put into the trailers. But they adore it. They absolutely, and so do the learners. When they get these same dogs arriving the following week, first of all, they're disappointed that dog, maybe Rosie, hasn't gone home. Or they're overwhelmed. Hi, Rosie. Oh, please, can I see to Rosie? I'd love to have Rosie. So it's a great feeling when they get excited to get into. It isn't a walk in the park, excuse the pun, because to get those harnesses on takes on an average of 4 caregivers. 2 caregivers to get them out their kennels, to give their eyes a wipe, to make certain that the poop was right, to have their file matching the microchip, and another 2 guys actually packing into the car, and then of course head adopter, a lady, either Danica or Michelle, make certain that the barn has packed in wet wipes, medical stuff, all their files, clean blankets, allergics in case. So all this background work, guys, is hectic.
But the beauty for me, and I get so excited saying it, sorry, I've got animal hair on my lip, I'm in my winter, I'm at Woodrock Animal Rescue, but the beauty for me is Stella once phoned, or she's phoned me multiple times and said to me, it was so funny, they'd open up a kennel to take the animal out, and all of a sudden everyone would walk in, Joey's on the loose, everyone, Joey's on the loose, and what's Joey simply done? He's run, and he's sitting waiting to jump into the trailer to go to park. So they really, really love it, and that gives me so much joy when they do that.
We try and keep the same caregivers involved with these 15 dogs that are chosen, because there should be no mistakes at this point.
Absolutely. As I said, life happens, and we're dealing with living beings, and if they are having a bad day, then they won't come. But they come to pop up, and they get so much love and so much attention, one-on-one attention, which is great. Volunteers also swap throughout the day. But as Stella said, when they know the list, when they hear the list of who said, I'm taking Zoe, I'm taking Zoe. So they create these relationships with these animals, and it's too beautiful. And I think simultaneously, the animals also create relationships with the learners. And quite a few of our learners have actually ended up adopting the animals that they've
all
fallen in love with.
so that's also a big thing, is that's what happens at pop-up is fostering.
Absolutely. But when they do come back, let's talk about what happens when they come back.
Oh, it's a mission on its own. So first of all, the driver is not allowed to stop. No driver is allowed to stop the vehicle at any shopping mall. It is just against our rules.
Or petrol or anything.
Nothing. He's got to make certain his van and his vehicle and his trailer, the lights are working, that there is no hiccups. And then they start to make their way back from Parktown, Four-Ways Crossing, or now from Town on the corner. And they come straight to the farm. It takes a good hour or a half, 3/4 of an hour to get here. And then the caregivers, their hands are washed, they're all ready and waiting. And once again, as they're taken out of the trailer, there, Jackie again, Jack, they run to their kennel, their allocated kennel.
By then they're exhausted. By then they've had a day out, they've had a party, and they're ready to get into bed. So they're ready to run back to their kennels. But the same process happens. Take out the dog, right? Tick box, Joey's come back out, and I'm hooked on the name Joey today. Joey's back, His microchip, let's just check him out. Anything that we need to make
And
you
then
aware
on
of.
the WhatsApp group, you will have a report back on how that animal scored at pop-up. Did Cara do well? How was Ronnie's behavior? So there will be good feedback for the adoption team on a Monday morning.
Absolutely, and on that weekend we might simultaneously have a dog that's come through on the Saturday and just hasn't, it just, there's something off, they just haven't enjoyed, they haven't settled, and we'll say, you know, we're not going to take them through back on the Sunday. But pop-ups really, it's a fun place. For me, it's the most beautiful part of the adoption process because they've been rescued, they've been medically checked, they've been rehabilitated, behavior's been assessed, and now they're ready for their home. And I think that's where it's such a beautiful thing for everybody to be so involved with and so a part of.
And you know, if I ever had to stop pop-up, which it can happen, nothing's ever cast in stone, I feel we would be doing the dogs an injustice because the euphoria that the dogs, the benefit to the dogs going, regardless that they get adopted, of course, the adoption application,
The cherry on top, cherry on top.
but the just them getting out and getting that park-like one-on-one family experience is invaluable.
Absolutely, it's remarkable. So if you guys would like to join one of our programs, simply email us at volunteers@woodrockanimalrescue.co.za and you'll be guided from there. Kim, who's on the other side of that mail, will answer you. She'll add you to the groups. We'd love you to participate and, you know, come and have that experience of being at one of our pop-ups. I have to say, everyone adds a different value. Woodrock Animal Rescue is obviously king, having all the animals here, having Stella here from an educational perspective. No one can beat Stella's education.
I do have to add a word in here.
Yes.
Although Oscar's Ark are the flagship of taking dogs off property and adopting them out from their beautiful container, which is really remarkable, we coined the phrase. I don't think you know that.
Oh, really? So, guys, the word pop-up comes purely from Woodrock Animal Rescue. So, yet again, if you'd like to participate, simply email us at volunteers.
I'm talking for rescue, not pop-up as
Yes,
in the
yes,
shopping.
yes, yes. Volunteers at woodrockanimalrescue.co.za. Can't wait to meet some of you guys at one of those venues. It's been such a great, fun conversation today. I think we both smiled.
It's for the love of rescue.
Absolutely, we both smiled the entire time because it is. It's the happily home. It's the happily ever after, which is so fabulous. So from me, Jack Martheze,
And me, Stella Meldau.
signing out from For a Love of Rescue.